Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Sagittarius, I'm going to use a Wild Unknown Oracle and Tarot deck with you today. And I'm just going to see what it has to say. What does Spirit have to say to you? What is the message? What is going on with Sagittarius? We'll start with a Wild Unknown Oracle. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. As I start your reading, there's blue skies directly in line between myself and the camera, and it's cloud all around. There's blue sky. It's almost like a little patch of blue has opened up at this point in your reading. You have the wolf. It's like the wolf has walked out of the flames. Okay, so the message is coming in with this card is that this wolf has come out of the forest. The forest is burning, and it's kind of almost like, it's almost like in a state of panic when you run out of something. I guess even like, I guess you could say, like, if you run out of a building and there's an emergency and there's like, even if there was a fire or something, you know, like you just have to get out. Like this is almost like this is your way out. That's the only way you're going. You can't go any other way. And then you're like, almost like, did others get out? Did the others get out? There's a really, really interesting energy about this. It's almost like finding yourself alone in the woods on the other side of the fire. On the other side, like, but it almost like it forces you out. It forces you out of the woods. Something has forced you out of the woods. And you kind of stand there and you don't know, like, the rest of the pack or whatever that means to you. Did they get out? Are they somewhere else in the woods? It's actually really funny. It's bringing me to a scene in The Walking Dead where they were, it's kind of like the season where they were living on the farm. And I think it's like how it all ended. And they all, you know, well, actually, it's probably not even that. I think it happened many times where something catastrophic sort of happens. And then they all just are, you know, you're just trying to survive. You're not paying attention to, oh, are you coming this way? Should we, what do you want to, where do you want to meet after? It's like, you know, you just kind of like scatter. There's this energy, Sagittarius, of just scatter. Like something, it just feels like something kind of catastrophic, or if it's not catastrophic, it's something that pushes you, right? You can't go into it. It's a forest fire. Like it's pushing you. Even if it's not like coming at you, in a way that feels like, oh my God, my life is in danger right now. It's kind of like, well, I can't go that way, so I'm going this way. But then you find yourself like standing outside of the fire, the woods. It's like, it is behind you, but it's almost like you're standing there by yourself. Like, well, now what? What do I do? Because it also kind of feels like this comes off to me as the leader, like the alpha wolf, but right, like, well, there's no one to lead, so that's kind of coming through as well too. It's almost like trying to understand who you are now that you've come out of the fire, and everyone that was in the area or those that you knew or associated with, like it's like you all scattered. So what do you do now? It's sort of the feeling. No. The vulture's the underlying. there's some things from the past here have been like, that are being, how should I say, alchemized. Some energies from the past that don't make it through. Okay, so when I say through, you could have made some type of major decision in your life. And that major decision involved, I know I need to do this for me, and I don't know where that lands me in terms of with you or with these people, but I know I need to do this. So it is. It's like you're standing there and you've kind of landed. You've placed your feet, you land. Well, I just want to say, like, some of them didn't get out. Some of them didn't get out of the forest. So the vulture to me is very symbolic of who you knew those people to be. It's almost as if they're not part of any type of a future for you, right? Like, if it's right, it's very metaphorical. I mean, the zombies got them. The zombies got them. It's okay. So it also, right, like, kind of talking around it, but it also kind of, you know, feels a bit like having some type of an awakening experience, like a very profound one. And it was almost like it could have come in suddenly, and it's almost like the zombies were around, or even like waking up from being a zombie. But then, right, it's the minute that if you've ever seen them, like they try to walk through like a zombie herd. They've got like the decaying zombie blood on them and stuff. And and then the zombies just walk past them thinking they're one of them. But it's almost like that, like needing to run out of the forest because they recognize you're not one of them anymore. You're not a zombie. You're not a zombie. And a zombie to me is kind of like just a mindless, reactive being that's almost kind of lost its soul, or the soul has departed. So the soul has departed. It's almost kind of like you reclaim your soul, but you got to get the hell out of there because the zombies will recognize that you're not one of them. And this symbolizes to me that, you know, some of them, they've been picked apart. They're not, there's no conceivable way that they would have any part of your life. But it's also kind of like suddenly waking up and realizing, oh my God, I'm a zombie. I'm a zombie. We're zombies. What are we doing? The vultures are feeding off of us. So, you know, it also kind of gives me the impression too of being in some type of environment where you're doing something kind of like collectively, but you're not really, none of you were. I want to say you are, because you've come out of the forest. You've come out of the zombie forest, but it was like being at some point of time here where you're participating in something that doesn't do your soul justice. Others around you are doing the same thing. And it's kind of like just mindless, like an automaton energy. And you know, it's really funny because like this is still coming through to me like the alpha. So you could have even been like the leader of the zombie group. You could have been like the leader of the zombie group. And then you're the one that ends up having kind of like this awakening experience. And it's kind of like tapping back into your soul and who you are and what's going on. But because it feels like you need to rush out of the woods, it's like if there were ideas, if you were just behaving differently, right? It clues the zombies in like, oh, wait a second. You're not a zombie anymore. We'll get you. So we'll get you. you're not following the zombie script here. You're trying to deviate from the zombie script. So you've deviated from the zombie script. Likely, even if you weren't like a leader in whatever this was, I want to say some type of influence, or people admired you in their own zombie way. But the minute you stop being the zombie, so you kind of come out of the woods, and it's like you still hold whatever this leadership or kind of, it's leadership. It's almost like a born leader. And I say that because you know, anytime you look at animals, any sort of like animal documentary, and particularly those that live in groups, it doesn't always follow the chain of command with, like, if the alpha has, well, the alphas I think are the only ones that breed, but and something else too, like if you think of like lions, all of the females will breed, and there's usually one male, or there might be a couple of brothers or something like that are running the pride. And there could be like one kind of like alpha female. She's the strongest, the most intelligent, but it's not necessarily her cubs that are going to come up in that line. It's kind of like how it's like something that you're born with. Like, you'll just see some cubs. It's just like, you know what? I'm fearless, but I'm also not stupid. Because some of the fearless ones end up getting eaten. It's just like, well, that was dumb. There's times where you need to hide behind, you know, in the pack there. But so there's something very naturally born in you. So you don't lose that when you have like this awakening. You still maintain this kind of alpha energy, but there's nothing around to alpha. Like, you now find yourself out of the zombie forest and standing there like, okay, now what? You were just waiting. Well, come and say hi, and then you gotta go. He was like sitting on, he was waiting for me to drop the card, and then it's like he's learning to respect my rhythm. He's like, okay, I know mommy's talking. I know mommy's talking. She's in her zone. She's just put the card down and she stopped. You know, you can watch those same birds from your tent. Yes, you can. Okay, I'm going to go to the tarot and see that this develops and changes. Don't get squishy tail with me. But yeah, the wolf has come out of the forest. It's almost like it's burnt. It could have even burned a bridge. You could have even burned some bridges too, because there's a sense of not being able to go back. Right? It's all been picked away at. This bridge is burned. You don't go back into that forest. You continue to move forward, walk forward. Now he's watching the birds on that. Oh. Such a beautiful Larry. Interesting. The very first card comes out, was stuck in my hand, was the Four of Pentacles. It's like just standing on the edge of the woods. Now what? Okay. It's standing on the edge of the woods with nothing to... Okay, the Four of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, and then the Ten of Wands. It's like standing on the edge of the woods. The zombie woods. The zombie forest. And... it's not moving, to be quite honest. It's just standing there and not moving. But it's almost as if there's some type of natural... There's a natural part of you that gives. Like, and I kind of want to say probably in like leadership or guidance, support. But it's almost like being stuck feels like the obstacle, like nothing there to give to. Look at this. The Two of Pentacles is sitting under the Four of Pentacles. And it's the butterfly that's been held back. Okay, it's like your rebirth is held back. Why? Like what? Oh my gosh. The Six of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords. There could even be like, we're going through episodes here of, yeah, I don't know, like maybe like doubting yourself. Oh shit, I ended up with the zombies. How did I do that? How did I end up over there in the zombies? I gotta really be careful with who I and what I give to. Oh, the Ten of Wands and the Ace of Swords. I kind of want to say that there's some level here of starting to understand, starting to see where you couldn't see before. If you've felt stuck after some type of awakening, why do I, no, I don't think it'll be written on my sheet here where no, put titles. I don't know, is it you? I feel like it's someone I did a reading for and you were having like another awakening, like either like an initial or another level of sort of like an awakening and an awareness. I mean, that never stops. It's, some are more profound than others. This one feels fairly profound. And it could have even been something that you experienced, like, I don't know, months ago, years ago. And it's like you're standing there waiting. Because there's nothing pushing you forward and there's nothing pulling you back here. The Son of Wands, which is like the Knight of Wands, the Nine of Swords, the Three of Swords. Oh my God, it's like this horrible conflict. It feels like you lost something quite big in this awakening process, in like getting out of the zombie forest. It feels like you lost a lot. Because this is almost like, this is like your drive and your instinct with this, the Knight of Wands, and needing to like, just, what do you do? I mean, when there's something happening around you, when there's zombies, you don't like do the Knight of Pentacles. Well, I need a good plan here. I think, okay, if I do this and then I do that, and then where did you say you were going to go and where were we going to meet? You don't have time for that shit. You just gotta, you're reacting. You're reacting, right? And then it gets you though, then you end up with the Nine of Swords and the Three of Swords, which is it could be a lot of mental conflict about perhaps even how your heart feels. It almost feels like it's telling me that your heart is feeling a certain way and your mind is like, you're fucking crazy. Because like the Three of Swords is a conflict between the heart and the mind. And the Nine of Swords is leading into that. Like, what are you doing? Why? You're nuts. This is crazy. Or it's just like, oh my God, what happened here? And then you get the Death card, which signifies rebirth, and the Ace of Pentacles. Something's been picked away at. Isn't that interesting? Because that's the underline. The Vulture. Gosh, it's almost like having to wait long enough, even possibly, for, because you're standing at the edge of the forest. It's like, it doesn't look like to me that you've walked forward and you haven't gone back in. Because there's something significant about that in the forest. And, okay, the zombie town in the forest. There's a new beginning in there. But it's almost like, right, like this is, it's like a stump that's been cut. So, or like the stump of a tree that's been cut. And that signifies like, having the materials and the resources are now present for a new beginning. But it's actually after, like, there's nothing left of the zombies. So there's nothing left of the zombies. It's all become nutrients. And that nutrients is now in a position where you can claim it. You can do something with it. You can build with it, right? I mean, just see that with the Ace of Pentacles and that stump. It's kind of the initial cutting down the tree, creating lumber to build a structure and a future and a foundation. So it is, you gain some type of clarity on an obstacle that there's been here for you. In the weight of a decision, in the weight of something. Even as I say that, I'm seeing like somebody putting something on a scale, like measuring it, like the weight, the heaviness of something. But okay, so that's the funny thing. I'm seeing that, but I'm also seeing like WAIT, like if you're waiting for something. And it seems like that, just standing at the edge of the forest. You've been through something here that required instinctive reaction. And in that instinctive reaction, it's a horrible, it's just Knight of Swords. It is like living a zombie apocalypse. I would say if it happens, I want to be the first one out. I want to live in that world. I'm first one out, man. I'm going to be, within the first season, maybe the first couple episodes. It doesn't seem to matter what you do. I'm going to go on an island, and then there's all these freaking zombies in the water. You can never win. Okay. That's what Larry and I have. That is very interesting. So you got out of the zombie forest, and the vulture has picked away at the zombies caught in the fire. And so then it's almost as if the forest can be reclaimed. It's like the forest can be reclaimed. Yeah, that's exactly, I think, how that ends up with this dead picked away thing. And then you have your new beginning. And I kind of want to say wood that's been charred has actually been preserved. Like, it hasn't been full on burned. If it's been charred, it actually, I believe it seals it, and it's like almost, I don't know if it makes it impossible for like the types of bacteria and things that would decompose wood, but it is, doesn't it? It's kind of interesting to say that. It's almost as if this foundation has been cured so that, disease can't get into it either. That's interesting. So I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I'm going to pull out all new cards from these decks, and I'm going to let Spirit talk to you. That's it. There you go. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves. Bye.